So what elements are most abundant? So the most abundant elements on Earth and in the universe are different. They're not the same. If we look at the Earth versus the universe, it's different elements that are the most abundant. So for the universe, hydrogen and helium are really the most abundant elements in the universe. Hydrogen is our simplest element. Helium is the second simplest element. Hydrogen is really a proton and an electron. Helium is a couple of protons and a couple of neutrons and a couple of electrons. But these are the most abundant elements in the universe. They make up, in fact, more than 99% of the mass in the universe. So about 93.5% of the mass of the universe is hydrogen. 6.3 is helium, and then the rest is all these others: oxygen and carbon and neon and nitrogen and magnesium and silicon and iron and sulfur. Okay. Why? Stars are mostly hydrogen and helium. A lot of interstellar gas is hydrogen and helium. A lot of nebula are made of hydrogen and helium. So on Earth, it's a different story. So silicon and oxygen make up 75% of the Earth's crust. So a lot of the Earth is silicon and oxygen, which is funny because we have silicon dioxide, which basically makes up sand. Okay. Now, silicate minerals also contain silicon and oxygen. So any minerals that have silicate, which is that SiO4 minus polyatomic ion we talked about in the last presentation. So this is a silicate ion, and basically you can take these and arrange them in a bunch of different ways to get a bunch of different minerals, and those minerals then make up the rocks that make up the Earth's crust. The next most abundant after silicon and oxygen are aluminum and iron. And in fact, 98.5% of the Earth's crust is made from 8 elements. So you have oxygen at 46.6%. You have silicon at 27.7%. You have aluminum at 8.1%, and then iron at 5%, calcium at 3.6%, sodium 2.8%. Potassium at 2.6%, and then magnesium at 2.1%. And then all the others are 1.5%. Now, you may look at this and see oxygen and think oxygen in the air. It's like, well, air, so yeah, there's air, there's the atmosphere, but this is oxygen that's bound up with other things. Like this oxygen here is bound up to this silicon. So it's a solid at this point. This is solid. So this oxygen is part of a solid. This silicate here, this is also oxygen that's bound up with silicon that produces a solid compound. Carbonate, phosphate, a lot of those others are also oxygen bound up with other elements that produce solids. So this is not oxygen gas we're talking about here.